This is a brief video, hopefully, fingers crossed, about classified ads, dealing with piecewise functions in particular, because we talked classified ads and how they're a bunch of abbreviations of, break lock system, CD player makes sense. I don't think MP3 players are mentioned in there. I don't think Bluetooth has an abbreviation either. So if you're buying a car, selling a car, I don't think you need to mention B or Bluetooth as BT. I don't know, something to ponder. I hope you're having a great day. We're going to be talking about some problems that can use piecewise functions. I think that this is a topic some of you have seen before. Some of you might just need to see it again, which is okay. And we'll dive into it right now. So what's going on here? The North Shore News charges $19.50 for a 2-line classified ad. Each additional line costs $7. How much does a 6-line ad cost? So we read this once, maybe pause the video if you need to read through this again. But I know quite a bit. I know that if I just have 1 or 2 lines, it's $19.50. So that's something that we should make a note of. So we're dealing with $19.50 if we have 1 or 2 lines. And eventually we'll get into the mathematical notation of all this. But for now, we'll just say $19.50 if it's 1 or 2 lines. And then we have $7 added on. So we have $19.50, but then we add on $7 depending on how many more lines we have above 2. So the way that we can talk about this is if we have a number of lines and then just deduct 2, and that's the version. So that's going to be if this is 3 or more lines. So I kind of made this wordy, but again, I'm letting n equal the number of lines. And again, I'll break this down into the math context soon. I know I haven't even really answered the question, but what I'm forming here is a piecewise function, and I'll call it f of n because this has 2 conditions we can work with. Because if we have 1 line or 2 lines, we only have to pay $19.50. But if we have more, we have to give respect to that. So maybe take a guess. What do you think? How much does a 6-line ad cost? Hopefully you were saying that $47.50 is the amount we would pay for 6 lines. Sound good? Take a moment and read through this problem, pause the video, read through it, and we'll chat about it. We have this local newspaper, maybe the Philly Metro, charging the character for its classified ads. Letters, numbers, spaces, and punctuation each count as 1 character. Interesting. Similar to Twitter, everything counts as a character there. They charge $46 for the first 200 characters and 15 cents for each additional character. If X represents the number of characters in the ad, so we already have the variable here, express the cost C of X as an ad using the piecewise function. All right, so I'm going to say that C of X, this function equals one of 2 things, because we know that it's $46 if n is less than or equal to 200. So no matter what, we're paying $46 there. But how do you think we can denote the option if it's more than 200 characters? What do you think? Well, we're given respect to the fact that we have $46 no matter what, and then we take 15 cents and multiply that by the difference between the number of lines or number of characters and 200, because 200 is kind of the breaking point where things could add up more. Part B has us graphing this out. I'm going to take this to Desmos shortly. All right, so take some time to really look at this, and I'm going to highlight on some features that I think are important. I typed in how we had $46 for kind of the base pay if our characters are less than 200. Notice that I switched it, I think, before I had to type X. That's correct. I think it might have been N, but I'm using X to denote the number of characters. So if X is less than or equal to 200, as we see from here to here, it's just going to be $46. Whereas if it's going greater than 200, we deal with this line here. So this is pretty nice. This asks us to graph it, and that's what we got. I'll make a note here talking about the cusp. So another thing that was brought in for us here is the cusp. So the cusp is where the two parts of the function meet, which hopefully we can agree is going to be right here. So in this case, our cusp is the point 200 for x and 46 for y. So when they say the cusp, they're pretty much saying, all right, like something's changing. Like I'm either paying more or paying less at this specific point. And this happens again at 200 characters. So there you go. Notice I use brackets to denote what my x value is kind of bound between, because if you don't have that, you end up with something like this. And you don't want that. You want to keep it specific to where the characters are matched up. So make sure that you use brackets and use these inequalities to talk about that. In this problem, the piecewise function's already given to you. Take some time, pause the video, try this out, find the cost of the 3-line add, find the difference in cost between a 1-line add and a 4-line add, cost of a 7-line add. Try graphing it out and also find the coordinates of the cusp. Take some time to try this. So pause the video, try it, see what you can do. You should have said that the 3-line add is just going to cost $38, which makes sense because if x is less than or equal to 4, you just go into the 48 situation. What do you think? The difference between a 1-line add and a 4-line add, is there any difference there? Hopefully you're saying no, because they're both within that parameter of being less than or equal to 4 lines. So that's no difference. Cost of the 7-line add, how do you think we can calculate this? Your work could look something like this, but eventually you want to see that your answer is going to be $56.75. Take a moment, try to graph this out. Your graph should look like this. You have these two functions, put them all in Indesmos. Again, be careful with the inequalities and how you set those up. You can always type in if it's equal to just from hitting the inequality, but then hit the equal sign, and that'll throw that equals line under it. Your cusp in this case should be 4,38 because it's right where things start to change. So there you go. I'm going to leave you on this cliffhanger that I think is challenging. Post the position posted online job website. Terrible name. Oh my God. Position posted. Wolf. The job website charges $15 to place a classified ad plus $250 for each of the first 5 lines. So each line, if it's one of the first 5, is $250, and $8 for each additional line after the 5th line. If X is the number of lines in the ad, write a piecewise function for the cost of the ad. Try this out. Bring it to our discussion. We're going to chat about this one. I hope that this video was helpful. If you got any questions, let me know in the chat or say something verbally. Thank you.